Hi everyone, Dr. Monette here to welcome you to EDU 210 Week 3. For the past 2 weeks, we've been focusing on Microsoft Office and Google Apps. And this week, we're going to be combining our knowledge of these programs when we are creating our interactive graphic organizers. Something else we're going to be doing this week is beginning our Google Teacher 1 Level 1 certification training. So to get started, what we're going to do is we're going to go down just a little bit to see what the assignments are for this week. So for this week, you have some peer discussion board responses, and it's for the forward and the introduction of your textbook. You need to respond to 2 peers for this week, and you're also going to be creating an interactive graphic organizer using Microsoft Word and also Google Slides. And both of these are going to go to the discussion board so that you can see each other's interactive graphic organizer and to give each other feedback. So to get started on this, what you're going to do is you're going to click on the link and it's going to take you over to the directions for each of these assignments. So in the Microsoft Word Interactive Graphic Organizer folder, you're going to notice the directions and the guidelines, and then you're going to notice examples up here at the top. In the example folder, there are a couple of examples here that you can use and to beg, borrow, and steal some ideas from. If you go back into the main folder, back to the directions, you can see exactly what to do for this part of the assignment. So you're going to be creating an interactive graphic organizer using Microsoft Word and all those skills that you learned through the Microsoft Word practice activity. You're going to watch this video on how to create it. You're going to review the steps and you're going to create one of your own. You're going to make sure that it relates to your major, your subject area, and your grade ranges. And you're also going to want to make sure that you keep all the images for your organizer because you're going to need these for your Google Slides. So the interactive graphic organizer you make in Microsoft Word, you're going to make the exact same one in Google Slides. You're not going to use Google Docs for this, and I'll explain in the video as well. Google Docs doesn't work as well for interactive graphic organizers. So if you're going to use Google products for this, you're going to want to use Slides, but if you're going to use Microsoft Word is perfectly fine. It also tells you what you're going to want to title and save your file as when you upload it and post it to your discussion board. Now, when you post it to your discussion board, also make sure that you provide a description of what your interactive graphic organizer is intended to be used for. What is the subject area? What is the grade? What is the focus? And then after, coming up the next week, you're going to respond to 2 peers and you're going to be reviewing it. So you're going to give them a detailed list of strengths and places that they could improve on. So going back to the main weekly directions and guidelines, like I just said, you're going to be using the same interactive graphic organizer for both the Microsoft Word and for the Google Slides. You're just going to see how it looks and how it functions in both of these programs, and then you can choose which one you prefer to use in your future classroom. So for the Google Slides, when you click on that, it's going to take you over to the folder as well. And in the folder, you're going to see the directions and guidelines for the Google Slides. So when you click on it, it's going to come up and it's going to give you an overview of Google Slides, and it's going to have a video here for you to watch that's going to show you step by step how to create an interactive graphic organizer using Google Slides. Now, the video, like I said right here, you do not have to go all the way to the Google Classroom part. We're going to explore Google Classroom a little bit later in this course, so you only have to create the organizer itself. You do not have to do the Google Classroom part. Now, again for this, make sure that when you post it to the discussion board, you have an explanation and you explain the differences of using Microsoft Word and Google Slides to create it. Also explain which application you prefer and why you prefer Google or Microsoft. And also explain if you had any issues converting your Microsoft Word interactive graphic organizer to your Google Doc file, and explain what happened. And if you didn't have any issues, make sure you also say that. And then you're also going to respond to 2 peers graphic organizers by reviewing their interactive graphic organizers, and also make sure you give them a list of their strengths and places that they can improve. Now, something that happens a lot with Google Slides is people forget to change their share setting. So when you share your Google Slides as a link, make sure that it's an editable link. If it's not editable, we cannot move things in your interactive graphic organizer. So make sure that it is not in view only when you submit it to the discussion board. Make sure that it is in edit mode. So going back to your weekly directions and guidelines, one of the big things that we're going to be starting this week is your Google Teacher Certification Training. And we're going to be starting unit by unit at a time. And then at the end of the course, you're going to be taking your Google Teacher Level 1 Certification Training. So Unit 1 is approximately 85 minutes to complete, and it's 5 lessons. And when you click on your Google Teacher Certification Training, it's going to take you to the Google Drive folder. And in this folder, you're going to see all the directions for your Google Teacher Level 1 certification. It's going to give you your unit directions, and it's also going to give you the final exam for the Google Teacher Level 1 certification training as well. So when you click on the assignment, it's going to give you an overview of why it's so important to get your Google Teacher Level 1 certification training. So there's going to be the reasons and a link if you want more information. And again, this is something that you're really going to want to broadcast in your resumes when you're looking for jobs, and also post to your email so that people know that you are Educator Level 1 certified in Google. So like I was saying, week by week, we're going to go unit by unit, and we're going to focus until we get to the end, and then you're going to take the Google Teacher Level 1 certification exam. Right here is the sections of the exams and the units, and it breaks it down by how many minutes it's going to take for you to complete it and how many lessons are in each unit. Now, there's 13 units to the Google Teacher Level 1 certification, and the Google Teacher Level 1 certification is the final exam for EDU 210. It does cost $10 to take this exam, and this exam must be passed by the end of this course. If you don't pass this exam by the end of the course, you will receive an incomplete until you pass this exam. Now, when taking the exam the first time, there's not a waiting period. But if for any reason you do not pass this exam, you can take it 14 days later, then 60 days later, and then it takes up to a year. And each attempt will cost $10. Now, with all of this said, if you go through the units and you go through the lessons and you take your time and you really focus on everything and complete everything, you should not have any trouble passing this exam. But it is a matter of taking your time and taking the certification training seriously. And again, this is something you're really going to need to know when you enter into the classroom. They're going to expect you to know how to use these things coming in. And you're going to be ahead of the curve by knowing how to do these ahead of time. Now, when taking your exam, it must be completed in a 1 3-hour period with no breaks or no pauses. So the very last week in this course is dedicated just to you taking your Google Teacher Level 1 training and your certification exam. Now, with that said, if you want to go ahead and take some of these units ahead of time, that is perfectly fine. And you can take your exam earlier than that last week. However, you do have to have your first attempt in by that time. And again, if you do not pass the exam by the end of the course, you will receive an incomplete until you pass that exam. Now, the training is here with the level 1, and it will take you straight to the link. And then down here at the bottom, it gives you the directions for the training. So what you're going to do is you're going to complete the weekly Level 1 training by going to the following link and signing in with your Coker Gmail account. And click on the link. And each training will consist of an introduction, lessons, and a unit review. Now, here's a screenshot of what this looks like. Now, you may notice right here that it does say, if you already know the material, feel free to skip to the unit review. Please do not skip. because you will be responsible for passing the exam. And if you skip through the material and then just go to the unit review, you're not going to be as prepared as if you go through the units and take your time. It is very important that you complete all the lessons so that you're successful with your exam. Now, after completing the lessons, you will complete the unit review. Now, for me, to turn into Blackboard, you're going to take a screenshot or save your unit review as a PDF and upload it to the Google Drive Level 1 Unit Number folder. So if we're on Unit 1, you're going to put it in the Unit 1 folder. If we're on Unit 2, you're going to put it in the Unit 2 folder. There are 13 separate folders for each unit, so make sure that you put the right screenshot and PDF in the right unit folder. Make sure that I can see the percentage and the question and answers are visible. So you may have to take multiple screenshots to show everything. Now, with each unit review, you can take the test again. So if you go through and you take it and you don't do so great the first time, you can go back and review the material and take the quiz again, the unit review quiz again, before submitting it to Blackboard. But it needs to be completed before the due date. So down here at the bottom is an example of what this would look like, but I can't show you everything because it would show you the questions and the answers. So this is kind of what it looks like at the end, and you'll notice that there is this take this test again, or you can start the next unit. I need to see the percentages and all the questions and answers below. Now, after you've taken all 13 units, you are going to take your Google Teacher Level 1 certification exam. Again, it costs $10 and you must pass the exam by the end of the course, or it is an incomplete until the exam is passed. Also remember the time periods and that it costs $10 each time you take the exam. It does have to be completed in a 3-hour period with no breaks as well. So again, the very last week of this course is dedicated to give you that time, but again, you can take it earlier if you wish to do so. And when you're finished, you are going to email your results. You're going to get your results emailed, and if you pass, you're going to get a Teacher Level 1 certification. You're going to take a screenshot or save your email results and certification as a PDF, and you're going to upload that to Blackboard. Also make sure that anytime you get a badge or a certification that you add it to your Coker email address. And here is another link on how to add your badges. Now, the grading protocol for Google Teacher Training and Certification. So each unit review is worth 30 points, and any missed questions will be deducted from the total. So if your percentage is 100%, you're going to get all 30 points. But if you get 75% correct, you would only get 22.5 of the points. The number of questions will vary from unit to unit. Now, the Google Teacher Level 1 certification exam, again, if you do not pass it before the end of the course, you will get an incomplete, but once you do pass it, I will enter in your grade and it will go on into your transcript. However, again, you will most certainly pass your exam if you follow the directions and you go through each unit, you take your time, and you practice with the material. The passed exam is worth 200 points, which will be entered once you pass and you submit the PDFs to the Blackboard folder. So going back over to the weekly directions and guidelines, the other thing that is due for this week is going to be Chapter 1 in your textbook. Again, we talked about this last week, so I won't spend too much time on that. You just go, read your chapter, complete the reflection questions, and post it to the discussion board. Again, you're going to see lots of technology that's going to stand out, so you're just going to give an overview of what the chapter was about, the standout technology, and all of those type things. After next week, you're going to have to respond to 2 peers. If you have any questions about any of the activities or you're having any trouble with your interactive graphic organizer not doing what you need it to do, all you have to do is email me. Again, give me 24 hours to respond to any questions that you may have, and I will be happy to help you in any way.